Good morning, everybody, and this is Auntie. And I've gotten up this morning with my cup of coffee to do one of the most difficult videos I've ever done. So grab your tea, your coffee, your drink, and let's try to have this conversation, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even bother?
Aunties and lives, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Happy Saturday morning, everybody, and this is Auntie. Got my little lipstick all on my cup. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button and joining this family. To all of my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. You know, last night I absolutely could not sleep. I was up doing everything but sleeping because I too, like everybody else, have heard the story and seen the tears of Taraji. And I've heard the yells of Monique. And it's amazing how in life, the right voice at the right time makes a difference to some people. I want to start off by saying that in my morning meditations, right, I am always constantly listening to words of inspiration. And one of the most inspirational people in my life has been Oprah Winfrey. I grew up in the Oprah Winfrey era. I watched her mature into this woman who was on Baltimore television on I guess it was she was a news anchor of some sorts. And I watched her rise to fame. For me, she was hard work, dedication. You can get it done. You can be anything that you dream of. And I still believe that about her. But today I want to talk about the common denominator. I also want to say that I listen to her. Did I say that I listen to her every morning? Because I do. She is one of the people that I kind of put in my ear gate to get inspiration for the day. A lot of times you all hear me talk about intention. And Oprah is the one who helped me to understand to get up each morning, each day intentionally. Y'all know I don't come out in the mornings. This is not something that I do. But because I was up, I'm going to get y'all up. So, good morning, everybody. Let's get started. I put it on subscriber mode only. This video on subscriber mode only because my moderator lives in California and I'm sure she's asleep. So that helps to moderate for me. Okay. So to those who are coming in new, this isn't something I usually do unless I know that I don't have access to my moderator. So my apologies ahead of time. Hoping everybody is having a great day and going to be going out and doing your last minute holiday shopping or whatever you're going to be doing today on Saturday, Christmas Eve Eve. Okay, so how do I start? I start with the basics. Taraji was doing an interview with Gayle King on Sirius XM. And she made a statement. I'm going to see if I can back up to that timestamp. Just give me a second really quick. I want to see if I can back up to where the statement is. Just 1 second, you all. Give me patience. Put your patience hat on. Let's see. I don't want to do that. I want to slide back in this video. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay, so I'm there. I'm going to share it really quick. Happy holidays, everybody. So I'm going to share what has kept me up at night. So let me play this.
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
Okay. So that happened. So when I saw that, so let me give you the back on that, okay? Just 1 second. So Taraji got really, really candid about the pay inequality, inequity that she faces in Hollywood. Okay. As we all saw, she became very emotional. And this conversation with Gayle King went viral. Gayle asked her in the report that she had heard that she considered quitting acting altogether. And Taraji said, I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, being paid a fraction of the cost. She said, I'm tired of hearing my sister say the same things over and over, and you get tired. She also pointed out that her profession required her to have a team of people supporting her behind the scenes. She says, I hear people go, you work a lot. And she said, I have to because the math isn't mathing. She said, big bills come with what we do, and we don't do this alone. The fact that we're up here, there's a whole entire team behind us, and they get paid. She had mentioned in this conversation that People see like the salary of stars, and she used an example of being paid $10 million. She said off the top of that, 50% of that goes to the Internal Revenue Service, and the rest of it, right? So now we add, she's getting 10 million. She's saying 30% of what is remaining, okay, the gross and not the net, now goes to the staff, the makeup artists, the lawyers, the accountants, all of those people who are in the game, right? The rest of that money goes to them because she's got to have, a glam squad and all of that kind of stuff, right? You got that overhead that you have to pay. So basically, maybe at the end of the day, of that $10 million that is sitting on those books, let's say she walks away with two. She said that she is tired, that every time that she applies to or gets a role, every time she feels like she's broken that glass ceiling, she is now having to start from the bottom when negotiating for a new role. Where have we heard this before? Let's put our thinking caps on this morning as we drink our cup of coffee. Where did we hear this before? This isn't our first time hearing this. It's not. And that is what bothers me, I think. As you all know, I'm a YouTube content creator. I've been out here for a long time. I've watched a lot of content creators who have been in the game and maybe have barely broken 100,000 subscribers. While you see other content creators on the YT who break millions and do a fraction of the work. I think that we can maybe count on one hand, maybe 5 content creators who look like me, who are over 1 million subscribers and really making the money that they deserve or that they work for. The rest of us are scrapping and scraping. I've been out here a long time. Most of the time I do a video every day. And then the days where I can't do a video every day, I'm doing multiple ones back to back to bring you the content. But I'm still at 60,000 subscribers. And I know I'm good. I know I'm funny. So it doesn't just happen in Hollywood. It happens a lot of times, even on social media platforms. I just want to put that out there. That as African American women, we work hard and don't seem to be equally in the algorithm. That's my opinion about it. And I just had to get that off my chest because I've been really thinking about it. But in terms of Hollywood, where have we heard this before? We heard this through the mouth of Monique. Maybe wrong vessel, wrong conversation, wrong tone and voice, wrong everything. Maybe. But we've heard it. Did what Taraji said bring vindication to Monique? I don't know how many of you all remember the story of Monique. Monique is an Oscar winner for her role in the 2009 movie Precious. According to Vanity Fair, shortly after reaching that career peak, Monique retreated from Hollywood. She settled out of court in June of 2002 for a Netflix comedy special called My Name is Monique, which came to fruition after Monique sued streamer in 2019 for failing to negotiate in good faith on a 2017 stand-up venture, according to Vanity Fair. Monique said, I felt the same injustices and inequalities that all Black women who came to Hollywood before me felt. Oftentimes, people call that anger, they call it bitterness, they call it unstable, Monique said. They give it all these titles except what it really is. So according to Monique, her troubles with Precious began when she refused to promote the film at the Cannes Film Festival for free, against the advisement of director Lee Daniels and producer Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. She said, Oprah, I'm doing a talk show. I'm doing a comedy tour. I have a husband and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime and I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part. So we mutually agreed to disagree. That was it. Next thing I know, I'm considered difficult and hard to work with. And we have to remember that according to Monique, when she did Precious, which was a blockbuster hit, she was only paid $50,000. Maybe we should do our homework. Maybe we should talk about residuals and X, Y, and Z. Maybe she should have. But from my understanding, and I may stand to be corrected, there was a relationship between them. Monique, this wasn't Monique's first rodeo with Oprah. As we all know, Monique had an interview with Oprah Winfrey and was allegedly blindsided by Oprah, as Monique indicated that her mama was there unbeknownst to her. So there's been some friction between these two women. But when Monique came out on the scene in all her glory, Oscar winner, and said something, we didn't hear it correctly because maybe it was because of the vessel. Maybe it was because of her tone. But Taraji, in my opinion, is saying the same exact thing that Monique said. What is the common denominator? Taraji went on to say that the math isn't mathing, and I really want to get to that, right? She said that is why, hold on, let me get back to Taraji. Hold on. She said, it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to negotiate I'm at the bottom again. Like I never did what I just did. And I'm just tired. She said, it wears on me. Viola Davis and many other stars who look like me have come out and said the same thing. There are numerous videos that you can look at on the YT, on social media, where these women are speaking this and saying the same thing. But I want to talk about Taraji and Monique as it relates to the common denominator. Now, recently, Taraji did a interview with the SAG Affair, I believe it is, where she was talking about this same thing. Just did not get it didn't go viral like the one did with Gayle King. In that one, she came out and said, I almost didn't take the color purple. Taraji said, I almost did not take the color purple because if I didn't play hardball as it relates, let me see if I can find that because I need to find that conversation. According to Us Weekly, and I'm going to put the link to all of these articles, Taraji said, I almost had to walk away from the color purple. Someone said, what? In the comments, and she said, yes, ma'am. If I don't take a stand, how am I making it easier for Fantasia, Danielle, Hallie, and Felicia? Why am I doing this if it's just for me? While she didn't share the details about the discrepancy in her offer, she noted that she hadn't received a raise since she starred in the 2018 film Proud Mary. She said, I'm getting tired of Black women having the same story. It's breaking my heart. It's like every time you achieve something really incredible, it's almost like the industry looks at it like a fluke. Like, oh my God, how could that happen? That was just a fluke that you got that role or that. She says, I'm getting to the point where I just want to be 10 toes down on an island somewhere because of the fight as a Black woman. We do it with so much grace and get paid half the price of what we're worth. And that becomes difficult. And it's a slap in my face when people go, oh, you work all the time. She says, well, bitch, I have to because the math ain't mathing. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. The math ain't mathing. Well, let's talk about math. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. If you notice what I put, I'm a math girl, right? I've always said I like math because it is what it is. It's not what it's not. It's not subjective. Math is concrete. Hi, Wendy. Welcome. 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4. I don't care how you slice it. It is always going to equal 4. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to take this and put 3 over here and 1 over here. It's 4. It's not subjective. It doesn't change because you want it to change. I don't care how it's going to always equal 4. 5 plus 5 is always going to be 10. You can put it in a calculator. You can drop it from an airplane. I don't care. It's always, math is concrete. It is what it is. And that's why I like it. So Taraji is talking about the math, not mathing. So as a numbers girl, you know I got to look at the math, not mathing. Because we use it so often. But maybe, just maybe, the math is mathing. Because there is a principle in math when doing fractions called the common denominator. The common denominator. Let's talk about the common denominator. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. So a common denominator, the definition of a common denominator is a fraction that has two parts. A numerator, which is the number of the parts we have. That's at the top. Then there's a line. And then the denominator. Denominator is underneath that, and it's the total parts in whole. Any mathematical operation, such as addition or subtraction, involving two or more fractions is possible if the denominators of both fractions are the same. And this is known as the common denominator. One can add or subtract fractions only when they have a common denominator. A common denominator is a number with which both denominators share at least one factor. A common denominator is a number with which both denominators share at least one common factor. Well, you say, well, Auntie, why are you telling me that? Because we're talking about the math. When we talk about a common denominator, when we're talking about people, that definition could be something that is the same for all members of a group that might bring them together. Let me repeat that. Something that is the same for all members. Taraji, Monique, that might bring them together. Oprah. Is Oprah the common denominator? Is she that math that brings these two together? Is she? Because if she is, then the math is mathing. Now, let's break it down a little bit more when we're talking about the math, now mathing. The phrase, between me and love, you are the common denominator, suggests that the person being addressed is the common link or the factor in the speaker's experience. Me not getting paid to go on a tour for Precious. Me feeling like I'm always starting at the bottom, having to negotiate, almost didn't do it, color purple that is. You all notice I have on my purple. Oh, don't sleep on the purple. Don't sleep on it. Me almost not doing it because I had to fight again for some more. Where is the common denominator? or what could be the common denominator. Because again, it would suggest that the person being directed, okay, and addressed may be the common link or the factor. Let's break it down a little bit more. Between people could be a trait. It is a trait, a characteristic, belief, or the like common to or shared by all members of a group. Monique believed that she was not being paid for what she was asked to do. Taraji believed that she needed to continue to negotiate because she was not being paid for what she was being asked to do. Common denominator. Yes or no? And it's sad because, and what kept me up is because big girl, listening to what has been going on, I'm like, I know my boo thing is not the common denominator. The woman that I look up to, that I want to meet one day. I've always said I wanted to meet her. But it appears, and I'm not saying it is, I'm just asking you all, I'm just giving you all, the foundation of what a fraction is, and the mathing, the math is mathing. Allegedly, maybe, supposedly, or maybe not at all. But when we talk about math, I'm going to go back to say, okay, we got two people saying the same thing about one person or a group of people. We absolutely have to look at whether or not the math is mathing in Hollywood. Could it be the Hollywood standards? Could it be the back door? Like, there's a common denominator somewhere. What is it? Now, I understand that Oprah Winfrey is a producer on The Color Purple. I'm going to see it on Christmas Day. Can't wait. Got my purple and I'm ready to go. But maybe she's not the big boss. And so that gives me an opportunity, right? That gives me the opportunity to say, well, maybe it's not all her fault. But Monique spoke directly to it. And Taraji, in my opinion, went around it. And I'm not making any accusations and saying that, all of this is Oprah's fault or anything like that. I'm just talking about the math of it all. Again, as a content creator, I understand math. I understand that everything that we do and everything that we say is based on an algorithm. But the algorithm the math in the algorithm sometimes doesn't seem fair. It doesn't appear that it is mathing. Because I know I work hard. I know I work hard. Some people say that maybe she should work harder for the women. Maybe she should advocate more for pay equity. I don't know if she has or she hasn't, but I do know that Gail told her she understood. And I do know that the director, when Taraji said what she said, affirmed her and said, Taraji, these are your flowers. Me asking you to do this and to be in this film, this musical production, was my way of giving you your flowers. Because Taraji said, what the fuck am I doing here if I can't help and bring my sisters along with me? If I can't fight and get pay that is equal to my work. I listened to Viola Davis when she said the same thing about the roles and everything that she had been in. She mentioned that a producer had called her, I think it was someone called her, and told her that she was the Black Meryl Streep. And to them, they probably thought that that was a compliment. But to her, it was an insult because she wasn't getting paid Meryl Streep money. She wasn't getting paid Meryl Streep money. So how dare you compare me and think that that is complimentary? When I'm not getting, in her opinion, Meryl Streep money. I wonder if she thinks with all the things, and I follow her too, I love her. I wonder if she thinks like Taraji, that every time she goes back to negotiate, she's going back to the bottom. This is really a conversation that I usually don't get involved with. But I had to say something. I am hoping the best for everybody. I am one who inspired to be in the arts. I've done plays, I've done musicals, and I've enjoyed it. I've been in the music industry. I've watched things happen, and I just decided this isn't for me. Didn't have, in my opinion, the tenacity or the audacity to continue in it. I guess maybe doing YouTube is my way of being creative and living out a portion of what my capabilities are. I thank all of the women who are examples that you can do it. But it's really disheartening to see that that it appears that we're always going to struggle just to be recognized for who and what we bring to the world. This morning, having my cup of coffee, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I really wanted to share it because it done kept me up all night. But I am absolutely interested in what you think. Is Oprah the common denominator? Or is it something bigger than her? Has Monique been vindicated by Taraji's tears? Is the math not mathing? Or is it absolutely mathing? That is the question that I want to leave with you today. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being respectful in the comment section. Have a fantastic holiday. Be sweet, be kind, and spend time with your family and your loved ones. I love you all. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water.